Hi, friend. How's it going? Um, it's Saturday. It's relatively early on a Saturday. I say relatively early by comparison to what we usually stream at on days like this. Like a little after 11:30. It's fine. I stayed up way too late last night and didn't get up out of bed until a couple of hours ago. But I was like, hey, there might be some stuff that I want to do this evening. But I would still like to play some video games for my friends on the internet. So here we are. More Callisto Protocol. Just gonna talk about how shit it is. It's gonna be great. I hope you're excited. uh, yeah, I hope y'all are doing well. I am so thankful that it's the weekend. It's been a week. It's been a heck of a week, but we got through it. We've done it. It's happened. Hey yo. Um. Yeah. Y'all wanna do this? Why? Hold on a second. Wait a minute. Okay, hold on. We're gonna come over here. I'm gonna give OBS a second to catch up. We do have. Okay, there we go. Hey game. I don't want a new experience. Hold up. Hold up. I'm gonna exit and I'm gonna relaunch. Cause I'm not replaying. If it has subsequently decided that all of my game data is just gone, I'm not replaying the 4 hours that we've done. That's just not happening. And if that's the case, I'm gonna have to figure out something else to do. Oh, this might actually be like really loud. I'm so sorry. Well, if that happens, shit, what do we do? You check your entitlements. Game. Okay, why is it so stuttery? I don't actually want the DLC. Are you shitting me? Why? Let me exit. And let's, I don't know, let's verify our files? Like, as stupid as this game is, I was having fun taking the piss. If it doesn't work, what do we do? I mean, I guess we move on to the next game, but what's our next game? Oh, I'm not happy about this. Here, let me put on some music while we just kind of sit here because the fuck else are we supposed to do? Okay. It's verifying files. It's only 20% done. What the fuck? I'm like trying to think of like what happened. Because like the only thing I can think of is that maybe I closed the game wrong, but I didn't. I did it the same way I've done before. And that wouldn't wipe out all of my save data, would it? Other people had this issue. That's my question. Hold on. These are from like 2 months ago. Somebody made this, so there's a Reddit post about like my save got deleted. And there are responses from 2 years ago, but there's also comments from a month ago. What the fuck? Someone says, you start new experience, watch cutscenes until you can control Jacob, then walk around just a minute, pause the game, select load game, and voila. Et voila. Okay. Because if this doesn't work, we're gonna move on to something else. I don't know what. I don't know what else we're gonna do. I mean, I guess we could do some Sly. I feel like doing some Sly. Not particularly. I guess the excavation of Hobbs Barrow could be the next thing we do. I've been talking about wanting to do that. Yeah. Well, here's hoping that it just fucking works. Are you done, Callisto Protocol? Okay, it says that it's all been verified. I'm gonna keep us here for a second while I double check this. Yeah, that's not great. Don't like that. Apologies. Usually I like I launched the game before going live. I just don't think I like. It's not that I didn't look at the menu. I just didn't think to have to look for the, you know, continue or whatever option it is. We're checking entitlements again. Oops, wrong button. Yeah, it's still not. What the fuck? Okay, let's try. Why are we not pausing the music? Hold on. Okay. Well, let's try this. Let's try. Oops. Medium, whatever. I don't show again. Just go. Just do it. Just do the thing. Can I skip? Am I allowed to skip?
Shocking footage from Europa. A brazen attack by the
Okay. I mean, I feel like maybe watching the original cutscene would be good to remember what's going on.
Go
but
check them out.
I'm going.
We walk around for a minute. We check out some nonsense. Load? Okay. We want this one, right? Why the fuck? Why is that a thing? Why is that a thing that's happened since the game came out? And why has it not been fixed? Also, hold on, sorry. I've been
UJC bioweapon.
Okay.
Traced it from Europa to here.
To my ship?
I thought so.
Oh my god. Okay, well, at least it works. That's nice to know. Can I heal? Either I don't have any health, or I'm not allowed
Get
to.
ready.
I don't have any health. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. Love that. Okay. Hold on, Danny. I need to look around for some items. Like, it wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world if we had to, like, not play this. That just would have been incredibly frustrating. But also, why is that an issue? Why is that a thing they've not fixed? Oh my god. Is there anything cool in here? Things to stomp. Okay, can't stop that one. Can I shoot those? Those feel like I should be able to get into them. I don't think I can shoot them. I, granted, did not try. But, I don't care to waste my bullets. Danny, where are we going? Danny, you're the one who's supposed to be leading us. I
As Warden of Black Iron,
could figure out where
let me
I'm
be the
going.
first to welcome you to Callisto.
But, you know.
You have arrived at an exciting time. The beginning of a new right. Back there. Why did you do that to Elias?
Because
I
we
was in a
needed his
hurry.
bit.
Didn't have time to transfer the data. I need to know everything I can about what's happening here.
But you just ripped it out.
Like
Bro,
you
you've been
haven't done
doing the
thing.
exact same thing.
Not to somebody I know.
Yes, because knowing someone makes all the difference.
Or were you just using him to escape?
Both. Okay.
Ship's parked in orbit.
Gonna rip out his
We'll
thing?
activate the remote call down.
Okay, you do that. Is there...
We can take the elevator in the next room up to the landing deck.
Yeah, that's where we took off from.
Sorry.
Yeah. I know.
Alright. I just want to find a shop. I have a lot of garbage that I need to get rid of.
I'll get the
And I would like to
elevator.
get rid of it. Like, that would be like, I've got all of these decoders. Robo?
Error.
Hey, Robo. Oh, the poor buddy.
These bodies. They're killing everyone.
Well, yeah.
I guess someone's trying to cover up what's
This will
happening.
take a minute. Look around. See if you can find anything.
Yeah, I'm already doing that, Danny. I know how to
What the
look for
hell is
things.
Cole up to? Specimen loaded onto modified Gamma-2 cargo containers. Did he think
I
using
need to sell
civilian
things.
contractors would somehow prevent me from finding out? This isn't science. It's madness.
What is science if not madness? This is where we came in from, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, let's just keep following Danny, I guess. Oh, do you want me to? Okay, I'll press the button. Yes, I'll do that. That's okay. Sorry, I got that handled.
Almost there.
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
We are.
I couldn't have made it without your help.
Something tells
I
me
know.
that
You
we
don't
are
seem too
not
surprised.
nearly done.
About what?
About any of this. Whatever the hell's going on around here.
Saw something like it before. Back on Europa.
Europa. Well, the news report said that was all on you.
UJC propaganda. Things aren't always what they seem.
Yeah, no
Kinda like
shit.
me. And that cargo you thought I was hauling.
Maybe.
Yes, Jacob, you're the victim
I shouldn't
here.
think so.
Sorry. because Danny following you because she thought you had some bad cargo on your ship is the exact
There it
same
is.
as the whole government
Zoom it
blaming
out.
Danny for a
Right on
massacre
time.
on a planet.
That's a hell of a lot bigger than my old ship.
Think you can fly it?
Yeah, I'll fly anything that gets us off this rock.
Yeah, but it's not gonna work, is it?
What are you doing?
It's not me.
No. One must learn to accept what they cannot control.
Sir?
Still, I'm impressed that you made it this far. Perhaps you both have potential after all. Mr. Lee, Miss Nakamura, your journey was especially long. All the way from Europa.
What'd you say?
But I'm afraid there's just too much at stake.
Uh-oh.
And the protocol cannot be broken.
The Callisto Protocol?
Though your story ends, please know that you have my respect. Wait. No. No. Go. Go.
Whoops.
Go. Go.
Oh no, no more sliding.
Take my hand! Jacob!
Well... Okay, well, it's not more sliding. But it is falling. And having to wiggle around uselessly. Does look pretty cool, though. I'll give it that. As pointless as it feels to just wiggle around. Oh, you wanted me to grab that. Man doesn't have shoulders anymore. They have turned into dust. Oh my god. Well, let me wiggle this around. I keep moving it between streams. Okay. What are you doing? Are we on Europa now? Seems like.
Danny? Danny.
Don't touch her. She's got the lament configuration. We have such sights to show you. Okay, well.
Jacob! Jacob! Jacob!
Just screaming at him's not gonna help.
Gotta move! Hurry, it's still coming down!
How did she get to us? We fell very far. And she didn't. From what I saw.
Where the hell are we?
I don't know. Wait, hang on. Console's still active.
Okay, and?
Oh god.
What?
This is Arcus.
What's that?
Arcus. The original colony. The one the prison was built on top of.
Party.
There's
What does
an
that mean?
elevator nearby. We can take that to the transport hub, then cut across to the colony, and then back into Blackiron.
Back into Blackiron? No, no fucking way. We almost got killed just trying to get out of
This
Blackiron.
isn't about escape,
Then
Jacob.
what's it about?
Not anymore.
What's it about?
Answers! Why did the warden shoot down one of his own ships?
I don't know.
And how is it connected to Europa?
This is supposed to be just another fucking job. This is crazy.
No, poor baby.
But what choice do we have? Come on. This area's not safe.
Damn, I don't think anywhere around here is safe. I don't think it's just here. I think it's
So what
everywhere.
happened to the original colony?
Abandoned. Along with the rest of Callisto.
Till they built the prison here.
Still not allowed to run.
UJC's gotta make money somehow, right?
No items. Okay. Danny, I'm coming. Just keep walking. Sure, I might not catch up for a million years because I'm not allowed to run, but I will get there. Game, let me run. Just let me
Surprised
run.
there's still power.
Those old fusion generators were built to last.
You want to go that way, but I want to look this way. Because this looks like a place where they would hide things. Oh, there they are. Hi, Salvia. How are you doing? How's it going? How's it hanging? Look at all these things. I'm not gonna be able to carry, like, any of this. Is the problem. Like, I am quickly running out of space, if I've not already. I have run out of space. Because I have all these things that I need to sell. You have all this skunk gun ammo. Riot gun. Reload? Reload? Is that the skunk gun? Or is that just the hand cannon? Hold on. How do I swap? There. And then reload. And now, do I have space? I do. I have a single spot in my inventory. Please. We're just gonna use up the skunk gun ammo as fast as possible because this shit does not stack very well. And is kind of annoying. A little disappointed that I bought it.
Sounds like the hangar's still coming down.
Like, it hits hard.
Elevators
But
just
is it
up
worth
ahead.
it? You know?
On the map, there was a service route.
Sorry, I have to check one more thing. Just to make sure everything is fine. Okay. I just needed to make sure that I had the
A few
volume
levels down.
option
Might be a faster way to reach the colony.
of
I hope this
easily
plan of yours
accessible.
doesn't get us both killed.
It's like, I don't know if it's just me, but like the general sound in this game kind of doesn't sound great. It's like
It's getting worse.
it's just so quiet in some
should
parts and
hurry.
then so loud at others, and usually like at the exact same time. I don't
This
know.
is the
I don't know.
place, right?
Like I said, like it could very well be an issue
But
that
I
I'm
don't see the
having.
elevator.
Shit.
But who knows?
It's busted.
Was hoping we'd get lucky. But this whole place is falling apart.
Okay.
Well, there's got to be another way down.
Yeah,
Let's
climb.
find it. Come on.
Start climbing. Damn, if you could give me a shop sometime soon. I know we're in like the place that doesn't have anything, but I would still love a shop. You know, just for me. Who needs it to make sense? I certainly don't. Whee! Okay.
Look out!
I'm sure it's fine.
I'm okay. Thanks.
Yeah.
I can see another way. I'll meet up with you.
Can you?
Be
Will
careful. It's worse than I thought in here.
we? Okay. Okay, well you clearly want me to go that way, and I guess I can't really go that way. God, game, let me run. Please. I don't care if everything here is unstable. I just want to
Try not to
run.
think about it.
I am thinking about it.
You okay?
We're fine.
I told you to be careful.
Yeah.
We are solid. Where am I going? Why did I come down here? Ah, that's why. Danny, is that you stomping around up there? Who be stomping? Go this way? No. Oh my god, please. I just want to run. Birdie, you gotta not do that. Or if you're gonna do that, you have to tell me before you start doing that. Hi, friend. You have to tell me if you're stomping. I need to know what's happening. Oh my goodness. Okay, I get it. I understand. If you love stomping, I'm not gonna stop you from stomping. But a heads up would be nice, you know? Don't stop. Don't stop on the climb up. Jacob. Jacob? How's it going? How are you doing? Good afternoon, evening time. I am actually going to scream if I just have to, like, casually wander around any more than I currently am.
Over here.
Hustle, Jacob, hustle. Oh my. Glad to hear you're doing good.
Come on. It's not that far.
Wonderful. Danny, shut up. I'm coming as fast as I can. I would be there faster if Jekyll? Hi, Jekyll. If Mr. fucking Jacob here put a little pep in his step. Shit. It's just Jekyll. That's his name now. Oh, now he hustle. You should let him drop Danny. He's not worth it. Let me play as her. Let me play as her. Danny, kinda alright. Like, I don't think she's like a very well-written character, but she's at least more interesting than Jekyll over here. Gross. Ucky. What do you mean, oh, this bit? What do you know that I don't? Oh, are they like blind or whatever? Not stealth missions. Is it? It might be. Genuinely, I don't remember. I thought it was on the platform that we had done previously. But it might be. Look. This might be where he found out that you can just... I mean, you might also just be correct. Actually, I think you're correct. Hold on. Hold on. LOL! I think this is the part. I think this is us getting a whole cutscene just to dunk a meat man. The thing about this game, like I said, like, I don't... Pretty sure I didn't finish John's playthrough. But I might have. And I don't remember, and I don't remember what happened. Because a lot of this game just sort of blends together. I don't feel like there were a lot of, like, at least from what I do recall, not a lot of, like, particularly memorable sort of things, you know?
Gotta stay quiet.
Yeah, we know.
Mission log 001,
Pose.
Dr. Yu.
Don't talk to me, Dr. Yu. Get up here. Nice. But yeah, this might be one of the big boys that you can just kind of like... They're not really an issue if you just pick them up and throw them. Either on spikes or, like, over a ledge or something. Who needs enemies of, like, you know, tiered difficulties when you can just dunk them all? Get down there. Well, maybe not like that. Maybe don't get down there like that. Where did the big boy go? Don't make a sound! Well, thank you for... There's a guy. There's a guy. Okay. Can I go through here? No, Jacob will not go through there. Okay. I have this need, right? To, don't make a sound. Again. I have this need to look around and find items. Jesus Christ. Hold on. I'm gonna go back the other way. Because I think this is the way that they wanted me to go. Excuse me? Are you coming through the hole? No. No, you're not. Okay. I have this need to find items, right? However... Oh, I see items. It's just skunk gun ammo. I don't need that. And I think my inventory's full again. This! Oh, wait, is this the way that they want me to go? Just dunk them all. What's my battery at? Pretty bad, huh? Okay. real neat enemy there you got for me, guys. This little wobble. Excuse me, how do you know I'm there? Wait, how do you know I'm there? Okay, fuck off. First off. I don't know why he did that. Ooh, does that guy have tentacles? Yeah, he did. Okay, Jacob won't reload and he won't get out of this bad situation that I found myself in. So that's cool. Now, okay. I realized I probably went through my skunk gun ammo, which is, what was happening there. But I don't know. I wish that he made some sort of indication, that, you know, you don't have any more ammo, as opposed to just kind of doing whatever. Yeah, gun is banned. We understand that now. So what we will do... Let's throw the boys on there, and then I guess melee them so that we don't get the attention of the other guys? And also... use that battery that we've got. That made it stop flashing, but it has not refilled the bar, which keeps disappearing into the back of Jacob's skull. Oh, look at them all lined up. Aww. Okay, alright. Did I get... Items from all three. Wonderful. I know gun is louder than melee. I do understand that as like a general principle. However, I feel like they would have heard that. Him going, and then also, you know, the horrible meaty noises. Who's that? Okay, well, I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters who that is. Anything here? Just a scare that I, like, fully missed. Hi. Really? Okay. I would do a stomp on them, but I know for a fact that that's gonna draw the attention of the other guys. I'm out of skunk gun bullets. Not out, but I don't have any in my inventory. So swap back to the hand cannon, which in space nobody can hear you. Ha ha! Ha ha! That noise, and it's just imperceptible to the monster's ears. Give me those Callisto bucks. I get why I can't. Yes, I don't actually get it. What do you mean it's? Oh my god, my inventory is fucking full. I'm fine on health. Battery isn't doing shit. GRP charge full. I don't think it actually is, though. Is the thing. I just want to shop. They haven't given me a shop in so long, and they gave me so much trash to sell. Okay. Whatever. But it's a schematic, and I want it. What can I get rid of? Can I, like, reload the riot gun? No, riot gun is full. Full up. So let's get rid of these. The 2 hand cannon bullets that are just uselessly lying around. Tactical pistol schematic. I was saying, I don't understand why I can't, like, quick switch between the hand cannon and the skunk gun. Like, I understand why it takes a minute for them to, like, to be interchangeable, because, you know, it's part of the same handle, and it takes a minute to do that. So wait, is the other way that I was going before actually the optional way? But I, like, and maybe I'm just an idiot, and I don't know where the button is. What is that, though? Is that another, like, thing I can sell? Oh my god. Whatever. No, it's ammo. It's skunk gun ammo. Okay. But I wish there was, like, a button to, like, swap between the different pistol attachments. Because, like, it's kind of annoying that I can only do that from the inventory. Especially, like, when it comes down to fights, you get so little ammo for either of those options. Oh, you fucker. That, like, I'm essentially hobbled. Because I can't easily change between weapons. Did he just, like, not hear that at all? Okay. Shop?
All systems operating within normal parameters.
Great. Let's sell all of this trash. I'm glad I didn't get rid of the decoders now, because those are worth 500. Yeah, maybe they're actually just, like, they're deaf on top of it, which, like, you know, That's fine. What is this? Low recoil and high rate of fire. Yeah, but like it does like no damage. Why would I do that? Fuck it. Oops, wrong button. Give me that upgrade.
Remove item from print assembly.
Okay. That's nice. 2,700. Improve recharge rate, please, because at this point the recharge rate kind of non-existent, it seems like.
Quality check.
But maybe I'm stupid and I don't understand the little icons on the back of Jacob's neck, because honestly, they don't make much sense anyway. What are you? You're skunk gun. Yeah, might as well stabilize the riot gun.
Printing.
Oh, it does actually add a thing to it.
The UJC appreciates
Only sometimes,
your
though.
productivity.
Not every single time, though. Okay. I don't hate that. Yeah, more damage.
The UJC is not responsible for any defects.
It does actually add a thing from time to time. But not always. Not on all the things. Only on some of the things. I take it back, Callisto. I do appreciate the fact that you, like, actually add shit to the things from time to time. But also, I wish you would do it, like, every time. Consider. Okay. Is there anything else? Give me that. That's just health. That's just dumb health. I am gonna go back up. For item. Is there like anything I can throw this guy into to kill him? Like instantly? No? Okay, well, what ammo do I have that I can spare? Can I please change where everything is located? And we got riot gun. Let's use riot gun. Okay. Excuse me? Go up. Is that a blind guy? Hear him stomping around down there. Oh, he's coming up here, huh? Where is he? Give me that health. Is that it? Did he hear me from like 10 million miles away? Still hear that boy stomping around down there. Okay. I was gonna go back and stomp bodies, but I don't care to, I don't think. Just get down here and do this. Jacob, shut up. Where? I don't know where they're coming from. Like, I can hear them. Is he up there? Well. Okay. Before we do that,
the UJC is here for you.
Check this last little bit. don't know that I care for the skunk gun. And it might just be worth selling this shit for it. I'm gonna do it. I don't care. It doesn't, like, give me enough to buy anything, but at least it's not taking up space in my inventory. Yeah. Is that gonna bring anyone else over here? I don't feel like I really had much of a choice on how to handle that guy. He was kind of in the way, wasn't he? Or can I go over here? You want to squeeze through there? No, you cannot. You are too big. Understood. Okay, yeah. I had to shoot the guy. Okay, he's back on his hand cannon. Whatever. I mean, that's what I want. I don't want to use the riot gun too much more, because it's pretty nice in a situation where there are too many guys. How do you know I'm there? What was the point?
That was close.
It was annoying. Where is he? In the stone? Oh my god. Okay. I understand why the game wasn't letting me run earlier. It was trying to prepare me for how slow going all of this was gonna be. Caution. It's just meat. You're warning me of meat. Beware. Meat. Okay. There are more spikes out there, which is great. I do love that because that means that I can just kind of throw dudes into the wall. Question is, where are the guys? Not you! Ah, we heard it that time, huh? Kind of. We kind of heard it that time. There's one up there. There's one up there. Okay. No. Fucking piece of shit. Oh my god, sorry, I absolutely hate the, like, telekinesis in this. It's so trash. Like, I don't... If someone can explain to me how it's, like, how I'm supposed to read the blue bar on the back of his neck, God, give me... I can't pick up the item. The item is too far away. Jacob can't just reach out and pick up the item. Cool. Cool. If someone can explain to me how this TK bar is supposed to work, I would love to know. Like, now it's refilled, I think. But then how many charges do I actually have? America, explain! Okay. Cool. cool. Sucks that I can't get that ammo, but I think it's just skunk gun, so not too upset about that. Just mildly annoyed. Give me that.
Mission log supplemental.
I
Dr.
don't care, Dr. Yoon. Hey, bud. I don't think I give a shit. Game, I am done engaging with your story, I think. Because frankly, I find it to be not interesting. I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm just more mad at this game than I was last time, just because of the whole save situation that we had earlier. Like, why is that still a thing? Can you not? Oh, well, when we logged on, when we launched the game, there was no option to continue. It just gave us the option to start a new game. I tried verifying the files. When I logged back in, still said, nope, you can only start a new game. So we looked it up online. I went to Reddit of all places to be like, what the fuck is going on? There was a post from 2 years ago where somebody was like, hey, I've played like quite a bit of this game and I can't continue now. What do I do? And somebody from 2 years ago responded back like, oh, just like launch a new game, and then once you're able to walk around as Jacob, you should be able to get into the load files. There we go. And then you can like load your previous game and stuff, and that worked. However, looking at it, like I said, this was a post from 2 years ago. There are people still commenting on it from like a month ago who are running into that issue still, and it's like, why the fuck haven't you fixed that? Why is that not a thing that you have addressed, makers of this here video game? I can't get that boy. Okay, do I only have 2 grabs left or 3? Which is it? Yeah, oh cool. Sometimes it just takes away your load game option as a joke. Isn't that funny? Yeah, so I think that like really just kind of like put me off. Like, it'd be one thing if it was like a new bug, which, I mean, it would still be infuriating, but it's like, that's apparently been a thing that people have been dealing with since this game came out, and they just haven't done anything about it. So that's cool. Is he dead? Cool. Just breaking his back kills him. So yeah, it's like I know how to fix it, but it's still frustrating that I have to like. Okay, so when we have 3 bars left on our thing, we really only have 1.5 grabs left. Okay, that makes absolute sense. Am I just like the blue thing on the back of his neck? We had 3. And then I grabbed the boy and I threw him. Does the throw count as part of a charge? Is that the issue? Because if that's the case, that's fucking dumb. Alright, Callisto, I was having fun just like ribbing you a little. We were having an okay time. We were teasing each other a little bit. You are actively pissing me off today, though. Do better. Like, this isn't, am I, and I will hear, I will listen if somebody is like, no, Kaysh, you are an idiot. This UI makes sense, but the thing, this blue bullshit, the blue bullshit, you know, does that make sense to anyone else? Like, am I wrong? And it's okay if I am. I'll take that. I still won't understand. But, you know, that comes down to a me problem. But I don't get it. There's a lot of guys. And I am very slow. No, no. No! Fuck off. Everyone. Wait. I mean, that was loud as shit. Certainly a lot harder to tell how much grip you've got left than it is to see how much dead space stasis is left. Okay. I mean, yes. I'm just trying to understand what's going on here, and also, it stopped flashing, so I assume it's fully charged? But how many charges do I have then? Okay, it is nice that when you go to stomp from a crouch, he will just start crouching again. I appreciate that. I just don't... we're gonna have to do a little science here in a minute, alright? I want to see if a grab and a throw okay. You can't see the fucking bar half the time because it's hiding up in his fucking cranium. Don't touch me. I don't know that I have enough charge to grab that boy and throw him. So we're just gonna backstab a couple of guys, because apparently backstab on a big enemy is fine. Also, backstab, like, area where it'll, like, tell you where you could do that? Incredibly generous. Which, I'm not mad about that. But it's like, if you're gonna be kind about those kinds of things, why the fuck are you being a dick about letting me know how much stasis I have? Or telekinesis, whatever. I don't fucking care. The thing, the grab and the throw. He's got an achievement. Cool, I feel so accomplished. Sorry. I promise I am having an okay time. Okay enough to not stop playing, but I also I need to gripe, I think. I think this is a day of me needing to talk about how bad this actually is. Because up until this point, it was all minor annoyances. And now, it's like, why are you actively trying to hurt me, game? Guys get their own whole cutscene, and there are 2 easy ways to insta-kill them. That's what I'm saying. I mean, I don't know. I'm glad that there is for my own sanity. But it's, like, really annoying because it's like, if you are just going hand to hand with these guys, right? Like, it's fucking hard. But then it's like, if you want it to be hard, then commit to that? I don't know. I don't know what I'm it's like, I wouldn't enjoy this if it did just go, like, balls to the wall difficult, right? Just because, like, the difficulty that they have in place is not fun. I don't feel accomplished when I get through a thing. I'm just fucking relieved that I am done with that bit. And again, like, can I see what my difficulties are, actually? Gameplay? Difficulty. You're not telling me what I had already selected. Okay, never mind. Like, I know that we're playing on normal mode. And I think we were doing... I don't know if it's minimum or medium difficulty. minimum or medium security that we decided to go with. Bro. Fuck it. Come here. What are you doing? Can I stab you? Yeah, I can just stab you. Okay. And it's like, I don't know. I don't mind the idea of having really difficult enemies that you do kind of have to, like, that you can find an easy way to kill if you're, like, clever. Or, like, you know, working real hard to, like, you have to, like, work to get to that solution, right? I'd be okay with that, but this is so, like, just kind of go vaguely behind them, and we'll just let you do your murder. And also, hey, if you just pick up the guy and throw him into the spikes, that actually doesn't do anything. Like, I would much rather, for engagement, to be able to enjoy a game. Not a game, but this one in particular. It's like, for these harder enemies, yeah, let me just pick them up and throw them into the spikes, but maybe also let them, like, I don't know, maybe when they hit the spikes, they do kind of explode into different parts, and, like, the biggest chunk of them is still coming at you or something. So you still have to deal with them. Like, do something else with them. This is, like, I don't know, it's really frustrating knowing that this is, like, from the dude that, like, made Dead Space, like, the director of. And again, I know that he's not necessarily, like, the one who makes the mechanics and all that kind of stuff, but you would think that he would, like, look this over and be like, no, we need to do something else with that. There needs to be more or something, you know? And again, it is just incredibly frustrating knowing that this came out just, like, a month before the Dead Space remake did, and the Dead Space remake was so fucking good. It was so good. The original Dead Space, still so good. So to have the remake be, like, as enjoyable, maybe in, like, a slightly different way, but still just, like, as enjoyable and as fun as it was, and to have this be like, oh yeah, we're just like those guys, but doing it so bad, it's like, bro, what? Anyway, that's my TED Talk about that. Target can be grievously injured, including limb loss. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I've, like, as much as I've been, like, ribbing, as much as I've been, like, poking fun and all that kind of stuff, like, when I came into this, I was trying to engage it on its... I was trying to engage with this in the way that it, like, asked me to an extent. I mean, I knew about the whole, like, you can just pick dudes up and throw them into the walls and they're donezo. But it's also like, okay, well, you made it that way, so, like, yeah, I'm gonna, like, use and abuse that mechanic. That's just a thing that I'm gonna do because you gave me that power. But the rest of it is just sort of like...
Looks like this will get me to the colony.
It does. It's like we talked about the last time, where it's like they really did just focus on... Why were those blue and now they're orange? Can I just not get close to that? I don't understand. Whatever. I don't know. It's just like they really went for, like, style and big actor names over, like, actual substance.
Those cables lead to a generator.
And, like, you know, if that's a choice you want to make, that's a choice you want to make. I don't like it, and it's not exactly the kind of game that I want, but you do you. Just know, some people might not be too pleased about it. Is this? Where are we going, buddy? And I wish I could move these. I wish I could move these so that, like, I don't want to necessarily organize them, but I want to be able to, at a glance, see how many spots I have, as opposed to being like, oh god, I have to, like, I don't know. Just move everything up. Just move everything back towards the top so I can see quickly and easily that I have 3 spots. And also, it looks nicer. Consider. That's a incredibly minor gripe. But while we're on it. Okay, bud. Where do you want me to use this key card? What are we doing? Unlock the power tunnels. Okay. That tells me nothing. This? Well, that doesn't seem right. Because that's not a door. That's just a big old fan. That I'll probably get to throw dudes into. Which would be cool. I'd like that. Vehicle access. Isn't any other way there? So what, where?
Choose an item.
I only have $1. I have $1 to my name. And again, super willing to hear, like, defenses of this if people have them. Generally, I'm willing to hear it about any game that I have some issues with. But, like, I just what's the point? Can I... Unlock the power tunnel's door. What door? Am I in the power tunnels now? That's a vehicle access. Oh, I see it. No, I don't. That's the door I came in from, so never mind. Is there a sign out here that tells me that this is... No. Okay. Well, is it out here then? And yeah, it's just like with like access junction with like these like harder enemies that they make. Power tunnels. I found it. With these like more difficult enemies, it's like, do you want them to be hard or do you want them to be easy? It's fine if you give me like one means to easily take them down, but I still would like to work for it a little bit. But it's just like, it's just so... It just feels incredibly unbalanced, is what it is. And there's like no care or attention like paid to the combat. And I don't know, like that just like really annoys me. Hi guy, can I take the thing off your neck?
Those things. They killed them all.
Never mind. Okay. It's just Dr. Yoon talking to us again, and I don't care, frankly. I don't give a shit, actually. Great, more things to sell. Oh. Me, when I hear Farley doing something he's not supposed to be. He's a naughty little guy. Oh my god, he was being so cute this morning, though. So, like I said, I stayed up, like, way too late last night. So I, like... Which was nice, it was fun. But then... No. He ran at me and then he stopped. Okay. Well, I was trying to lure him up here so I could throw him into that. But no, I guess. Looks like there are some spikes down there, but also I could be wrong. Hi, Barry! How's it going? I was talking about Farley before the enemies kind of came at me. yeah, so like I was sleeping in this morning. I woke up around 5, like I usually do. And he was being so cute. He like he'd like curled himself up around me, like in like my little armpit. Oh, my camera froze also. Let me fix that. But he like probably like curled up near me. I do now. Thank you, Tom. Also, hi, Tom. How are you doing? My camera does that from time to time. I don't know why. I haven't figured out how to fix it. I've tried. But yeah, if you ever see it, just let me know, and I will turn it off and turn it back on again, because that seems to resolve it. But no, so like I was laying like this, you know, like, oh, I'm so sleepy, and he was like laying right in here, and he was all snuggled up with me, and it was very cute. I got up to get like a drink of water and like go to the bathroom, but then I was like, I need to go back to bed. So I like laid back down, and he was still there. Usually, like, when I get up, he like follows me around, but he was still laying there, so I like snuggled back up with him. And then I woke back up at like 9:30, and he was still just like in my arm, and it was so precious. I love Farley. He's such a sweet little boy. Except when he's not, and then he's an absolute monster and a terror, whom I still love. But it was just like really cute. Like, I mean, he like full on just like snuggled with me for like a good like 4+ hours. I don't know how long he'd like been curled up in my arm before that, before I woke up originally, but it was really cute. But yeah, I'm doing all right. Very tired. I stayed up pretty late last night, but like had a good fun time. And now we're here having a not so good time. Oh, fuck off. Jacob, you have to crouch. This is too many dudes. Hey, game? Oh my god. They're just all in a little line, huh? But yeah, like, I'm doing all right. We're having a nice time. Well, as nice a time as you can have when you're playing the Callisto Protocol. Fuck off. Okay, I don't know that I have enough charge to do a thing again. This is too many dudes. I did have enough charge. Not anymore, though. But yeah, how are y'all doing? How is it going? How's it hanging? I know that you said you're getting ready to go to the market, Barry. I hope that goes lovely and is very nice. Okay, it does look like it's recharged again, but it shouldn't take me 5 hours in the game to figure out how... Oh my god, it shouldn't take me this long to figure out how this display works. Get him. Stab him. Okay. I didn't need to kill every single guy that was here, but I did it. I think. Hope so, because I'm stomping now. Oh lord, I'm stomping. But yeah, I don't know. This is... Look, we went into this knowing that I was probably not going to like this. It's just a little disappointing sometimes to see just how not good a thing is. And it's like, I think a lot of the... Can I have that, please? Are you kidding me? Are you doing this again? Are you doing it so I can't get the item that you've dropped? And I think it's money, too. Yep, nope, can't pick that up. Cool. Thanks, game. Yeah, I think it's just like, this is annoying me in particular because it is such like a... Like, it's a AAA game. And like, listen, I know that success rate or the enjoyment of AAA games that I have encountered has been not great, but like could be worse. I don't mind them. AAA horror and I, in general, don't get along very well, though, I guess. Fuck. Did I really just, like, baseball bat that boy into the spikes? Are you shitting me? That was kind of cool, but I don't think that was intentional. Like, I don't know that the game meant for that to be a thing that I could do. I'm not mad about it, though. Okay, give you the money. Also, even with, like, us increasing the recharge rate of the telekinesis, it's still not good. It's still pretty poor. Takes forever for it to refill. Excuse you? Okay, little guy. I don't have any DK. Okay, let's just backstab then. Yeah, like I said, I know I don't need to kill every dude I come across, but also I kind of want the items that they drop, because the only enjoyment that I am getting at this point is the it's still not recharged. There's 3 guys there. Two or three? 3. Do I have a battery? Yes, use it. Get it out of there. Yeah. Well, it's, I mean, yes, leaving one guy behind can be the difference between I can do this and oh fuck, but it's also like I just don't get enough items in general anyway, so it's like, well, let me get what items I can get. You know? Also, hey Yosh, how's it going? Okay, let's pick up all these. Did I stomp this one? I had not. So yeah, vague apologies for just being crabby about this whole thing right now. But at the same time, has the game considered just being good? Oh, geez. I'm sorry that you're feeling a little sick. I'm glad that it's not as bad as it could be. But definitely rest up. Get what rest you can. Oh. Jeez. Wait. What's his name? I don't know. I don't know what his name is. It's fine. Is there a shop in here? Fuck yes, there is. Okay. Oh. Excuse? I stand by the horrible worm sphincters. Not necessarily, they're not scary anymore, they're just fucking annoying. And it's like, oh, we put it behind a corner because we knew you were gonna rush in. It's like, okay, yeah, but like, it's still dumb. Get rid of the skunk gun ammo. I don't need it. Do have a lot of health injectors now, which is nice, but like, I don't really need it, do I? I don't have enough for that. Oh my god. Okay, what do I want? I mean, I want these. I don't have enough money, though. Ammo capacity for the riot gun would be good, but I'm too short. Like, 2 credits short. But that would clear up some of my inventory. We will not purchase anything at the moment. Oh, hold on. I take that back. Maybe we will. What was that? Oh, great, skunk gun ammo.
All
Love.
systems
I can sell that.
operate within normal parameters.
Do have enough to get one of the upgrades if I wanted. Upgrading the melee weapon probably would be a good idea.
Inspect print before use. Quality
I haven't
check.
been using it as much now,
Verified.
but we might as well. Yeah. Break the assailant's arm if they block an officer's melee attack. Please use responsibly. You're giving this to cops. It's not gonna happen. 2,700 for max damage on that thing? Ooh. Do not touch! Brrr. I touched. I don't know what I'm doing, I'm sorry. I just want to be out of this area.
On the generator. I hope it still works.
I'm sure it's fine. I just want to be out of here so I can, like, do things quickly again. You know, sometimes you just gotta run. Great, skunk gun ammo, just what I wanted. I wonder... Oh, fuck. Fuck off! Okay, cool. Oh my god. Run, Jacob, you fucking idiot. Nope, okay. We're just gonna casually just get our ass beaten because Jacob doesn't want to move quickly or anything. Fucking idiot. Oh my god. Literally would not run. Well, at least we can use some of those health injectors that we've got. Are they coming through? No. I'm gonna use a third or a second one. There we go. Okay, so that's how they make you actually, like, face hard enemies, huh? Is they throw a non-blind enemy in there. What is at 1? Is... Whatever, I don't care. Are you gonna drop a dude on my head or not? Like... What's the plan here? Okay, that's cool, Jacob. Whatever, my guy. Reload. Fuck! Okay, we got a couple of blind dudes coming our way. Can he not automatically go to the fucking riot gun? No, that's what he wants to do. That's what he wants to do. That's what he's gonna do. Or is this the hand cannon? Oh my god, sorry. They've made it so that the reticles for both are the exact same now. Or at least similar enough that, it is very difficult for me to tell in an instant. Whatever. Okay, that's the hand cannon. Okay, never mind. They're very different. Whatever. This is the hand cannon. Cool. That's what I want. Anyone else? Anyone else want to come down and just generally be an asshole about everything? Because, like, I'm here, I'm prepped, I'm ready, let's go. Is the thing that has a 1 on my hip, is that the skunk gun? Because I wish it wouldn't show me how much ammo that has when I don't have it equipped and can't easily, quickly equip it without having to go into the inventory. That seems a little silly. Alright, just get me out of here. How long is this game? I think that's my current question. Okay, there's a shop in here. But it's also incredibly dark. Get those.
Make a selection.
Make a selection. What if I don't, though? I don't have any money. Okay. Oh boy. Nothing there. Is this double checking for items? Ugh.
Need to flip those breakers to turn on the generator.
Okay, let's do it then. Let's go out here where all the bad things are and just resolve all the problems. You know? What's the worst that could happen? Look, we got lots of ledges. There's some spikes around. We got options. Do that. Time to find the second breaker. Come on. Oh! Excuse me, that's not a ledge that will kill them. That is just a ledge that will put them downstairs. Understood. I mean, it's fine. We have lots of spikes still. That doesn't change that situation. Okay. Excuse me? You gonna come out of that one? No, you came out of nowhere from over here. Okay. Are you gonna... Kinda doing it, bad buddy. Oh, okay. Well, apparently that killed him. For some reason. That's fine. Excuse me. Whatever. Do I go through the other door now? Is this one unlocked? No. Do I climb over the edge? No. Sorry. Oh my goodness. Sometimes you just gotta drink some water. It's very lovely outside right now. Like, it's in the 60s. It's beautiful, but the pollen count is atrocious right now. So as always, my allergies are just not being kind. Still recharging, huh? Okay. Still recharging. Sounds good. Thanks for stopping in and saying hi, Barry. Have a good day. Take care of that. And we'll take care of that. And then just to be nice to ourselves, we'll just go ahead and backstab this boy. Don't go where I'm going. Stop going where I am going. Oh my god. This fucking guy. Can we also stop giving me skunk gun ammo? Like, I know I have a skunk gun, and I know I keep selling the ammo. Can we please understand that I am actively choosing to sell the ammo because I don't want to use the gun? Thanks.
Okay, when to go.
Okay. Where? Okay, that didn't work. Maybe still charging. I'll just let them come in here. Well, it didn't mean to do that, really. Jacob! Okay. Oh. Sir, we can't keep doing this, you know? I don't think this is loud. Okay, well... we did it. The trouble is, like, I could do that, but then it takes up space in my inventory, which is why I'm selling the skunk gun ammo to begin with. Okay. Where is he? There is he. Are you gonna turn around? Okay, don't walk that far away from me. Thank you. Probably, like, reload it. Maybe that'll confuse it, like, make it think that it's fine. But, like, the whole point of not keeping skunk gun ammo on me is to keep my inventory clear. Because even prior to not having a whole ton of it, they were still giving me a whole ton of it. And it's like, I don't need this. Oh, but they're stacking better now than they were before. Of course they are. Okay, well, wrong button. Give me that back. I don't know. I think it's just now, like, giving me, like, a ton of ammo in general. It's just favoring the skunk gun right now. And it's like, hey, maybe don't? Yeah. It's just like, I don't know. I'm just not particularly happy with this game today. In general. So any even just slight infraction is going to be cause for annoyance, honestly. Okay, guy, where are you wobbling to? Yeah, why? Okay, whatever. Let's get him out of here. Give me your bits. Give me your bits. Give me your bits. Thank you. Okay. Good. Hand cannon ammo. Also, it's so dark. Ugh. Where is the last generator? I would like to flip that switch and be done down here. I think. Is the thing. Up here? Will we go up here? I don't hear anyone stomping around, but that doesn't mean anything. It's me. I'm the one stomping around up here now. No more skunk gun ammo, please. We're all done with that. Not needed anymore. I'm gonna have to go through the below area again to go where I need to go.
I should get back to that platform.
Yeah. Can I jump down? Oh, what do you mean that's locked? How do I get through then? Hold on. Ugh. There's not... Unless I'm just, like, missing something. That's locked. Okay, we're following the lines. I understand.
Jacob? Are you there? The power just came on in the colony. I'm boosting the signal.
Yes, I'm here. I'm heading to the colony now. I'll contact you once I'm there. Gotta stay quiet for now.
Oh, shit. Be careful. I'll see you soon.
Okay, stop talking. We have to be quiet. It's quiet time now, Danny. Fuck! Well... Let's go over here real fast. And... handled? No problem? We're good? Great. Thanks, lads. Okay, give me those. Wonderful. Power station? Not that way. Oh, this is a dead end. Okay. I'm getting greedy for items. Which then means I'm here for longer because I'm busy killing a bunch of guys. And that's a thing. Okay. Any other dudes that want to jump out at me and go argle wargle? That item's still there. Still can't pick it up. Cool. Love that. Is there anyone else around? Can I have that? I had to do some science there and then forgot. It's fine. It's whatever. Why are we doing that? Okay. Are there spikes here? There are spikes there. Come on, buddy. Okay, so apparently you can't hear that. Good to know. What? boy. Guys are obnoxious. Yeah, the recharge rate on the TK is unacceptable, I think. We've already been down that tunnel. So we're just leaving. We're just going. Well, okay, can we not do that? Oh boy, heal now. Maybe heal again, just for shits and giggles. Thank you. Oh my goodness. Hello? Are we just grunting and groaning for no reason? Just to do it? Did you just not hear any of that? Because I mean that's fine if you didn't. I'm cool with that. Let's just get that done. And again, while we're here, we are just gonna get as many of these items as we possibly can. Cause even if I don't use it, we can sell it. Bro.
Too close.
It was fine. We were fine.
Make a selection.
Let's sell some of that. And still can't really afford anything, so let's not. Okay. Well, I probably should have checked how much the PK upgrades were, because as annoying as they are, I still want them. Oh, I can open these now. Hooray! That's a lot of GRP batteries. Why are you giving me this many? Oh god, the inventory is full. Yeah, that's, gonna be kind of annoying. The batteries are useless to me. I have to get to them, I have to go into my menu. Unless there's a shortcut button that they just never told me about and or I stopped reading about. Not controller, keyboard. Keyboard mapping. Use medkit. Don't know what mantle is. Are you kidding me? Okay, you have to select. That's clunky and horrible. And I don't like it. Ooh, okay. Well, I still can't quick access my batteries. What gun do I have? Not the skunk gun, is it? No. Excuse me. I have so much skunk gun ammo now, though. Okay, well, that takes my complaint about being able to quick swap between all the guns a little faster, but... Or, you know,
Okay, here we go.
being able to swap between the guns faster is nice. And my complaint about that earlier is moot. Dude. Okay, so we're just instantly changing then, huh? Can we swap to the right gun, please? Where? Okay. Oh, okay, so if I just leave the menu, you stop swapping. Interesting. Oh, boy. Excuse. No. Ugh. Go ahead and reload. Where? Okay. Anyone else? Do I want to use a battery? No protective gear. None. Any other guys? Well, at least they give you plenty of time between rounds. Be able to do anything. Oh, hi. There are two guys, not one guy. Well, get him! Can I pick him up? No, unfortunately. Is he? Oh, but that was your friend! Oh, there goes my arm. Okay. Are you gonna make me do all of that over again, or did you checkpoint me? Okay, good. Because I wasn't gonna be happy if you didn't checkpoint me. Just wail on him a couple of times, you know? Nope, can't do it while he's ripping guy off of him. Understood. Or are we out of ammo for that? Okay. That's fine. Let's go ahead and reload, and then dodge, and then make sure we're actually still reloading. And then reload again. Okay. Okay, Jacob. Move, heal. And then dodge. Nice. Are you fucking kidding me? Okay, whatever. Not happy. I don't think the one guy should have more, like, significantly more health than the two guy combined. Personally. But I guess little guy was just holding him back. Actually, can I... And then let's swap back to this. Oh, okay, never mind. Reload. We'll just wail on him again. Because that seems to be more effective than a shotgun directly to the head. Oh, little guy got big guy off of him this time, actually. That's interesting. Wow, really? Okay. Whatever. CPU printer. Wowee. Why did that... Why? Are all the items gone? Oh, they are! Okay, that's cool. Definitely did not pick up everything that was in there, but, you know. Whatever. Let's go ahead and heal back up. I think it only did that because, like, the scene reloaded, you know? But, yeah, that's cool, I guess. Oh, did I freeze? Oh, fuck, okay. I don't know why it's acting up more today than before, but it's fine. We'll just keep fixing it. We'll just keep fixing it. I'll just keep the window that I fixed it on open so that I can access it easily. No, it's fine. Honestly, least of my annoyances today. I just don't know why it's acting up more today than before. I just wish I knew what was causing my camera to do that in general, you know? Whatever. Let's go. Oh boy. Okay, hold on a second. It is also just very warm
I
in
made
here
it.
now.
Great. Where are you?
Some kind of service tunnel.
I'm on the other side. Just keep going. You're almost to the colony.
There we go. That is better. It's cold in here. In game. Not in here. If it were cold, I wouldn't have taken off my... As a potty! In case you know, need to go. Alright. Oh my god. Okay. Huge potty! Look, it's there to make sure that anyone and everyone can go in if they need.
No, they told us.
Bring your friends with. It's true, you can barely reach the handle. Hold on. It's like at eye level for him. Bro. Big potty. Love a big potty. Oh my goodness. are we doing? Next cutscene. Gonna look up the length of this game for reasons that are definitely not
I'm at the colony.
to
Where are
determine if
you?
I can
See that light tower?
cope with this.
Meet me there.
Light tower. Got it.
Let me move my camera, please. It's true. Big potty for big shits. I just need to know how long the suffering will last. You know, that's all. And also, I need something to do while a cutscene plays. Because if you think pay attention is the option that I'm going with, it's not true. Sometimes you gotta degrub. Good job on degrubbing. It's just been not good. We had a holdout section that was just kind of annoying. And just weirdly based because even the game recognizes that its inventory system is clunky as fuck. And then it's just been me killing dudes. Just repeatedly, just killing guys. Stabbing dudes, getting their bits. You know how it goes when you need to bits a guy. Yeah, hey, you know what has some pretty good holdout sections? Dead Space. It's true. Genuinely, whenever it is that we finish playing this, either by, like, you know, actually finishing the game or just calling it quits. Can you not lock me into a corner? I'm starting to, like, yell. I might actually just go play Dead Space. I don't mind holdout sections. In fact, if it's done well, fucking enjoy it. There's just something really cool about being like, yeah, I'm gonna like face off on all these dudes and I'm gonna get through it. But like, this was just so not it. Okay. Yep. Nope. Turn around. Okay. The cabin section or the cabin holdout with Louis is the best part of RE4 OG. It's pretty good. It's pretty dang good. RE4 is just like, in general, pretty fucking good. God, imagine playing a good action horror RPG. Not RPG. What am I saying? Action horror game right now. Imagine. Thinking RE4 and my brain just immediately transcribed that to RPG for some reason. Hi, I'm still incredibly tired. Like I said, I slept in today. But like not much. I didn't go to bed until like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. Which is, you know, just a bit later than I usually do. But like, I see that guy in there. Like I said, I like woke up at 5, went back to sleep, actually got out of bed around like 9:30 or so. There are multiple story possibilities. It's technically an RPG. Is that what determines like what an RPG is? Can I get behind this guy and stab him, please? Thank you. How do we categorize RPGs? Because I always, like, one of the defaults that I have in my brain about them is just menus on menus on menus. But maybe that's just me. I'm bad at categorizing shit, though. Guy. I think the technical term is your character is somewhat customizable, if not fully so. That makes sense. That tracks. Branching paths usually implies a degree of role-playing. Also makes sense. It's one of those, like, if I'm playing a game, I might not be able to tell you, like, immediately what kind of a game it is, but once I play it, I can base it off vibes. Touch the butt. Cool. I think the shop upgrade trees would be considered an RPG element. Gross. Hate that. I don't think you're wrong, but I hate that. I don't know. This game, y'all, is not... I would say it sure is a game, but I'm not entirely sure if that's even true. It sure has game-like elements. This definitely just feels like dude wanted to make a movie and probably should have just made a movie. Excuse me. I mean, listen, that would be my argument. That, like, every video game is an RPG because you are assuming the identity of another character and living their story. But... yeah. I think that's everything. I don't know that I care to continue to look around for bits. Ugh. Did I stomp on this boy? I mean, I can. Did not really accomplish much, but we did it. Okay.
God damn, it needs an ID card.
Of course it does.
I can't access the elevator. This area's locked down.
I didn't come
You
in that
talking
way.
to that E.
Had to raid a security room up here to open things up.
Security room. I'll look for one here.
Can I get in his head? Wait, does this man have gummies? Oh, fuck. Alan has gummies. I've seen them briefly when I was playing Alan Wake 2, a couple months ago. Oh, I got in there for a second, but then his head vanished. I don't think this man has gummies. I don't think this game enjoys things enough to put gummies in here. Sorry, before I continue this, if you get motion sick very easily, you should probably look away. I say as I violently jerk the camera around. Yeah, I'm not seeing any gums in there. Granted, I'm only getting like 0.1 of a second worth of visibility. Game would deny me the joy of gummies. Isn't this how I got down here? Maybe it's not, because it is pointing upwards. And arrows mean go there. Oh. We've definitely not been up here. Do you want to know how I know? Because there's a man here. We got enemies. Oh. Sick beat, dude. Okay. Making lots of noise. It's fine. This area of the game is based off the way the game is made, apparently. Midtown. Facts, though. Again, it's not like... it's so annoying because it's not, like, so bad that you're like, wow, what a fucking horrible game. I know I've kind of been saying that a lot today, but, like, realistically, it's not like, wow, what a really shit game this is. But, like, also, it's not good. Like, it's definitely not good. This is gonna be one of those, and again, like, clearly, from what I watched of, like, John Wolf's playthrough, like, there's nothing memorable here. Like, this is gonna be one of those games that just kind of fades out into obscurity. And honestly, it's probably for the best. But, like... woof, those are like a 6 or 7 out of 10. I would definitely rate it on the, like, 5, 6 scale myself. But, like... Oof. Hi, guy. You idiot. You fucking idiot. Sorry. If you'd just taken a step closer. Okay. Yeah, it's just gonna be one of those where, like, maybe at some point someone will be like, oh yeah, hey, you remember that game that was kind of like Dead Space, but, like, bad? And people are gonna be like, no, not really. Excuse! You can't just jump out at me from the toilet! That's not how this works! Please stomp the man. There you go. Oh my god. Whereas it's like, at least with like a bad game, you get the joy of being like, wow, what a shit experience that was. And then every once in a while think back about it, and you're like, wow, that game was horrible. But this is definitely going to be one where it's like, I'm going to finish playing it, and then I'm just going to forget that it existed. And that's wild. Imagine making a game so boring that it just kind of gets forgotten. Like, genuinely, that would be like a worse fate to me than if I made a game that, like, everyone fucking despised. Because at least they felt something strong about it, you know? Even if it is, wow, what hot garbage that was. It's one of those, I'll play until I don't know where to go, or like die twice on the same section, and I'll never muster up the energy to play it again kind of game. Yeah! Yeah! Like, honestly, the only reason I'm continuing forward at this point, is because
I should head back to the elevator.
we're doing it on stream. And that's not to say that, like, because I'm doing it on stream, I'm obligated to finish this.
What?
It's just one of those, like, we can all at least, like,
You need to see it.
suffer together with it. But yeah, like, when I started stream out and we had that save issue, it was one of those, like, if I can't get the save back, like, we're done. Like, that is that. I'm not coming back to this. I'm not playing through it again. And we're gonna move on. And so it's like, but if it gets to a point where it is just like so horrible and so frustrating to play through, then I'll stop. We won't actually do it. My inventory is fucking full. Because of course it is. Okay, hold on. We are going to remember that this menu exists, please. But yeah, we gotta spread the suffering around. It's true. Because if I have to suffer through this bad game, so do you. You don't have to suffer through the bad game if you don't want to, but you know, I like suffering with my friends. Assault rifle schematic. Well, that doesn't sound great. How am I supposed to hold on to all of those bullets? I only have so many hands. Right? Like, I'm sure it would decimate these dudes pretty good. But how am I supposed to hold on to all that ammo? Are you fucking kidding me? Sorry. Anyone else coming at me? Yep. Okay. I mean, we'll turn in the schematic, but will I use it? Probably not. Oh, thanks for telling me where there was an item. Just kidding. Oh, hi. goodness gracious. Can I pick this up now? Did that clear out my inventory enough? No, because why would it? Drop that. I would rather keep multiple health injectors on me than not. I got the key card, right? Also I'm realizing I've streamed for 2 hours. And I'm starting to get hungry. Motherfucker. Okay. Probably consider getting food soon. Hello? Whoa, whoa, whoa! Why did he do that? What the dog do? Love that these guys don't even hear their BFFs getting fucking murdered. It's happening right next to you! My guy! Y'all are bad at this. Okay, I have to have, like, a decent amount of money at this point, right? Only 1,200, okay. Cool, 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 cool. We're going in here. Oh. Excuse me. A single spot on my back that is just very itchy.
Danny? Where'd she go?
Because the air is full of pollen. And everything is itchy, actually. Huh? There. We'll take this.
I had
Thanks.
no choice. Couldn't let it spread. Oh, they were all disposable, of course, but what we found...
Okay, so the colony collapsed because the infection, the thing, the whatever's affecting these guys. Excuse me. Excuse me. You gonna come through? Okay, buddy. But yeah, so apparently whatever this thing is, it all started here. Because of course it did. Why else would you build a prison on top of a slum? Not that it's their fault that it's a slum. I'm sure that these colonists, like, got dumped here and then were sort of, like, left to their own devices. While being given the bare minimum in necessary items to survive. Excuse me. Okay. Can we... High town. What's over here? Junks. Stab him! Stab the big boy! Give me that money. Okay. No more ammo for me. We have ammo at home. We'll take all of this money, though. Because I would like it. I like it a lot, actually. Okay. Up to High Town we go.
Why isn't she responding?
Because she hates you. Which, fair enough. Same. A lot of guys around here. Or so it sounds like. Don't look at me. Just don't look at me. Give me that. You know, I appreciate the hand cannon ammo.
UJC's gathering everybody up in the Hightown Square for vaccination.
Well, they would have to be given something, but it would be like the barest of bare things, and they might as well not have been given anything. Listen, watched enough sci-fi, I know how this goes. They're like, okay, here's a bottle of water and a very thin blanket. Enjoy your new home. Fucking Sparta kicks him out of the out of the ship. Don't cry to us if you find some horrible alien, just anything. Infection, artifact, colony. That's your problem. I'm gonna scream. Where is this fuse? No fuse? What is that? Nothing. Definitely not a fuse! I think it's in there. Oh, it's in here. Wasn't I already in here? I don't recognize the room, but that doesn't mean anything. Anyone else? Oh! Aww! Box landed on top of him. That was kind of funny. Bathroom? Who's gonna jump out at me here? Someone, for sure. What do we got? Callisto bucks. A health injector and a decoder. I would like that decoder because they're worth like 500. So we drop this. Get that decoder. Okay. Well, we got the fuse, so we can get out of here. I mean, I could. Oh, shit. I think we'll do that now. Oh, shit! Oh, fuck! Okay, never mind. Wouldn't have mattered anyway, because, you know. These guys kill you in 2 hits. Even if you are at full health, doesn't fucking matter. They're just gonna kill you instantly. It's fine. Okay, well, we got the fuse. It's that guy handled. No, don't roll away from me. But now it's gonna be different items in here because the loot is all randomized. So I'm probably not even gonna get that decoder that we had, and I'm gonna be very upset about that. Just kidding, there is still a decoder in here. But now it's a skunk gun and a battery. Okay, or skunk gun ammo and a battery. That is fine. Give me the decoder. Why do I hear music? It's like super faint, but it's definitely there. Whatever. Do I care? No. Sir. Ow. Okay. Heal up. Do one more. Oh boy. Give me me that money. What do you have on you? More health. You had skunk gun ammo, because of course you did. But man can't hit me. Oh, never mind. I was gonna say I am too low for him to get me. But then he stepped down. And he said, actually, fuck off! Fuck off! I will unload into you. My God. Because I do not want to deal with you. Fucking hell. Hey! Shop. Just what we wanted. Great. Let's get that CPU printer. 1,000. Very nice, very nice. Okay, we have a 3,000. Oh, this is for the hand cannon, which, like, you kind of want. I also really want that, though. Honestly, I don't care for the assault rifle. Just, like, the concept of it is kind of obnoxious. Okay, we are gonna go with... What have I been using a lot? I have been using the hand cannon a ton. Also been using this, so let's go ahead and increase the damage on that.
The UJC appreciates your productivity.
And then 400 left. Do I have anything else I can sell? Nothing that's really worth it. Okay. That is fine. We are gonna take a quick break because I need to go to the bathroom. And then we will get through this section and probably call it there for today, I think. But yeah, BRB. Oh no. Got a little belly? If I... I'm glad you like him. Here, look, I'll even give him... We'll give him a little fin on both sides. And then he also has... Bud! Ah, Fruity! Don't jinx me, bud! No! 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 Thanks for the 3 months, buddy. Okay, look. Not the 4K cop cock. Possible to get back. Yes, but do the so longer. So whoa 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 whoa. Did you like that? from life and alcohol abuse rattled on the screen. Yes, yes, such a fearsome beastie it is. Worse than the rising dead. The old woman splattered saliva all over the rectangular mic. Fuck no! Fuck no! And the stink. It's like, did you fucking see that? I don't know if you guys I don't know if chat's covering it up on screen. I did not like that. Out here. Please, one at a time. They will not divide us. We are strong. We will solve this raft problem to— Oh my god, the mayor is dead! Be like, I'm so much better than everyone because I am an artiste. My artwork is my struggle against the world. And that's my impression of this man right here. I'm gonna stop before it gets out of hand. I write about what the eyes cannot see. Sir. Yar! I write about what the eyes can't see! Is that better? Can we not? Get away from me! Get away from me! Yeah, it sucks when somebody's like up in your face all the time, isn't it? Isn't it? Fucking sucks, doesn't it? Sorry. We're good. I promise, I'm a very nice person. I beat these people to death. We're back. We're here. Let's go. I say that, and then don't actually start again. Okay. Yeah, let's, excuse me? Sounded like a trumpet! We'll get through this section and then probably call it here, because I need to eat something. I didn't get anything I could sell. I didn't think so. But, I also couldn't remember, so sometimes you just gotta triple check that shit. That was a lumpy boy. Also, while I was gone on break, you know, I usually like keep my headphones on so I can still hear shit, and know what's going on, make sure that everything's still functioning, because that's what I do. And also, they're wireless. I can go wherever. I don't know, I don't remember saying that, but I heard the clip of, like, not the 4K cop cock. What was the context there? Do we know? Because that was an interesting one. Oh, boy. Danny, what are you doing?
Danny.
She's jacked into the Matrix.
Go! You can't make me! You killed them all!
Wait. No. Stop it!
Well, that could have gone better.
I'm sorry. I tried to protect you. You didn't deserve this.
Danny. Hey, Danny.
Get away from me!
It's fine. She's just having a moment.
Okay, hey.
I'm sorry. I'm okay.
I don't know what she is.
Sure. You don't seem okay.
was in their mind, reliving their memories. There was an outbreak 75 years ago.
Sorry.
Just like what's happening.
Oh
in
yeah, I
the
was gonna look
prison.
up how much we have left.
They killed everyone, trying to contain it. Everyone. These aren't accidents. There's a pattern. Arcus, Black Iron, Europa. They're all connected somehow.
It is about a 10-hour game. Oh god, so we're what? Like at the 7-ish hour mark? Did I actually change guns? No, of course not. Because we're too busy doing a dodge. No. Stop hitting me. Hit him. Okay, okay. Thank goodness that didn't last any longer than it did because I was
You okay?
starting to get
The drop on me, but yeah.
a little low on bullets.
Fine.
Where is she? There she is. Okay. Let's do a heal. Kind of rude of them to just throw a single random dude in there as well. Like, how dare you? Anything else around here that I can, like... Oh. Okay. Where? Oh, my health is full. Never mind. Swing Gola! I don't think I want to drink that. We're gonna get all the items we can. Still don't have... I used all my skunk gun, which is fine. I have skunk gun again now, though, so let's reload. I mean, I can do that. Stretch. We're not shrimping. I did just stand up. Haven't had a chance to fully shrimp. We can make sure we're not doing it. Oh, are we frozen? Oh, jeez. Okay. Thank you for letting me know. Let me reactivate that again. I don't know why it's decided it's gonna act up today in particular, but it is. That means you didn't see it, but I was stretching, and I did de-shrimp. I'm almost out of vitamin water, but I'll finish it off. Thank you for the self-care reminders. Reminder to all y'all as well that if I gotta take care of my dang self, so do you. It's important and necessary. Alright, are there... That makes sense. They're good redeems.
I know.
Just in general, like on all channels. I like it
Didn't know you
when
could transfer memories like that.
streamers also have a... Good. It's good to make sure that you're taking care of yourself, especially when you're sitting around all the time, you know?
So what's it like?
Weird. Like, being two people at once.
Oh,
Really
okay.
makes you understand them. You were that.
Yeah, if you say so, Danny. Can I come in? Can you let me in?
Ask her.
she wants to go over there. I'm back to not being allowed to run again. So that's cool. Love that for me. I was just about to say, if I walked all the way over here for nothing, it's just an energy converter, so it's not even worth that much. But at least it's something, I suppose. Okay. I keep pressing the run button as if that's gonna do anything, and it doesn't, and it makes me mad every single time. Well, that looks like it's the end of Callisto Protocol. Jacob is fucking dead. If only we were so lucky. But yeah, I'd say we're probably like a little over the halfway point.
Yeah.
Maybe a stream or two more, and we'll be through this. If we're lucky.
On the other side of the colony. Just keep moving and I'll meet you there.
Okay. If you say so. There's another shop right there. I was hoping that we would, like, be done with this section, but let's power through. We're gonna do it. We're gonna get it done. Are there any items over here? No.
Make a selection.
I mean, we just had a shop. The placement of the shop's a little weird. Don't fully get it all the time. Go ahead and do that. I've been using the baton often enough, and I have noticed that the enemies like put their arm up every once in a while, and that's when they like push me back. Just being able to cut through that would be helpful, I think, especially since they're throwing actual dudes at us again and not just the blind guys. Oh, hi, you see me. Oh, you're a big lad. There goes his arm. Okay, I want this back. Excuse me. Actually, I want this so that I can reload. Can I not reload? Why can't we reload? Because I don't have any, despite the fact that it said I had 4, I thought. Whatever. It's fine. It's whatever. Swap back to this, please. Okay, Callisto credit.
The upper level, Jacob. Look for the clinic.
Okay. Well, I'm not particularly happy about this situation. Well, there goes Jacob's head. If you want the big beefy boys to be there, just make them be there, and don't kind of make them be there. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm just annoyed. Do I have to like get
within normal parameters?
I do have to get my my upgrade again. Cool, love that. Love that. I'm gonna keep that for right now. We will use it here in a second.
Wait for print to complete.
Oh, wait for print complete.
The UJC appreciates your productivity.
Sure, bud. Whatever. Is there anything that I can get for 700? I don't believe so. So I think it's just a matter of letting that be. Let's swap to the riot gun for right now. That should be able to help us with the basic guy. But also, what's up here? gonna come up? Whoa, what just happened? Is this how we're doing this? I'm just gonna make him keep climbing up. Really? Okay. I mean, if you say so. Is this how I go up? Or what? Is this just a dead end? Oh no, this is how I got here, isn't it? No, that's how I got here. What the fuck was the point of that then? Whatever.
The upper level, Jacob. Look for the clinic.
Anyone else? Any other big boys? I thought there was a third. Okay. I don't know. I just think it's a little annoying that they, like... They give you a chance to be able to kill them, but these guys transform so fast when they drop in that, like, unless you know that they're coming in, you don't necessarily, like... You're gonna miss it. And so it's like, if you just want me to fight the big, beefy boys, then just make me fight the big, beefy boy. That is such a minor gripe. That, like, we can more or less ignore it. But, like, I do just find it a little obnoxious, is all. I'm looking for items, which is why we're running around in circles like an idiot. I think I've been down here. Let's go. Have I reloaded recently? Wait, this is where I came from.
The UJC is here for you.
Okay, never mind. We go back this way. And... we... Does that do anything? You know, they want me to find a ladder, which I have just now done. We've already been here, though, so why are we...
You're getting closer.
Okay, great. Why did we... Oh, wait, did we come through here because we needed to, like, get power, and now that's why we're circling back? I mean, it still doesn't make that much sense to me, but whatever. I guess it doesn't need to. Give me that. I guess. But, like, I've already been here. There's a lot of doubling back that we've had to do. Which just reads as padding to me, honestly. Oh, that's Danny. Don't shoot her, I guess. Maybe don't shoot your partner. Let's go ahead and sell that again. Oops. Sell that. Okay.
It's freezing.
I guess I just don't know why we didn't go this way in the first place.
Well, didn't have much of a choice.
Or was it because we needed the power to be able to unlock this? That might have been the case. I'm just not following, and a lot of that is my fault.
Wasn't there before?
No.
But, you know.
Up to the surface.
Why would they cover it?
Dunno. But we have to cut through there to get back to the prison.
Well, let's go. I was hoping that this would be the end of the section, but apparently not. So let's keep going. Oh, look at that!
I am Dr.
Oh,
Caitlin Marler,
frames have just
and it is my
taken a
pleasure to
absolute
welcome you to
dump.
Arcus Station. We're excited to share with you our findings, the culmination of decades of research.
Uh-huh.
Who's she talking to?
Not us.
The government.
I'm gonna download what I can from here. Meet you inside the dome.
Well, here's the thing, Danny. It looked pretty fucking bad in here.
It began with a distress call, a mysterious contagion spreading on Callisto. The symptomology was intriguing, yet familiar.
Okay.
A form of accelerated evolution similar to what was discovered at Paramo. If we could understand the disease, we could re-engineer it to unlock the secret of the Paramo effect.
Uh-huh.
After securing the site, a lab was constructed, and later a prison surrounding it. A research base with a readily available pool of test
Yeah, of
subjects.
course. That's not...
That's why Black Iron was built.
Yeah, no shit. That's why, like, any prison is built.
After decades of searching, the prize is finally within
Oh
our
my
grasp.
god. Sorry.
The source, where it all began. A bold, new chapter for our project.
Yeah.
Via Solitaris.
Well...
My god. What is that?
That's a big boy!
An alien life form. Released by the miners when they broke through to Callisto's subsurface ocean. It was dead by the time we arrived, killed by security forces. But inside the carcass, we found them. Thousands of larvae. Primary disease vectors for the biophage pathogen. We collected specimens and transported them to our central lab on Europa. The pathogen acted as an evolutionary accelerant, mutating the colonists into little more than
It is a teeth
mindless
boy, and I
brutes.
love him for it.
Save for one. The so-called Subject Zero. Somehow able to reap the benefits of the contagion. Greater strength, endurance, and longevity, while preserving their intellect and humanity. Though killed by security forces during the outbreak, the
Oh,
body
don't
was
wiggle it around too much.
transported to the
Why are
blood
you
bank
opening it?
for
Why
the
are you
basis
doing that?
of the original research program.
God.
Las Plagas. It's the boy!
Unfinished business.
Oh,
Go to hell.
he's gotten veiny.
As you can see, things have changed.
Jacob, I found the surface access door. I'm trying to open it.
Yeah, okay. Sorry, he's Lord. Oh, okay, okay. I don't. Should I be wasting my ammo? Oh. Jesus Christ. Yeah, okay. Oh god.
Are you trying to run from what you've done?
I am trying to figure out how to be out of here. Stop! Stop punching me! Can I go in here? Nope, don't go into the teeth, boy. Okay, alright. Well, there goes my face. I'm gonna die again. because apparently, boy likes to fuck me in a corner. Jesus. Okay. Fighting is obviously not the option, but I also don't have any other options. Okay, maybe we just melee him. I'm meleeing his legs!
I almost got it!
Okay, Danny, if you could, hurry up, that'd be cool. Would love that for me. You can't just grab me! King, you can't keep doing this.
Danny! Danny! Come on!
He angry.
Looks like
Bucky!
She was just trying to help you, but soon she'll be one of us.
Yeah, glad I upgraded my melee weapon when I did, because...
Just keep moving.
Oh boy.
That platform will take us up to the surface.
Yeah, but should we go now? If you're infected? Just ask. Just a practical question.
Danny?
Wow, that sets in real quick, huh?
Oh shit. Okay, come on.
Yeah, I'm sure she's fine. Just a little bit of food poisoning. I'm fine, Barbara. I ran it under a cold tap.
This isn't fair. I promised I would stop them. Fuck. I won't turn into one of those things.
No. Okay, that's not gonna happen. Hey, we are gonna fix this.
How?
We're gonna stick to the plan. We're gonna get to the Warden's Tower. There's gotta be a way to reverse this.
I don't think there is.
I don't. But we're not gonna give up now. We're gonna finish this thing together. Okay?
I think she needs a nap.
Come on, up.
Good nap. Drink some water. She'll be fine. Don't think she's good.
You're gonna need this. Okay.
Jacob, this is the shittiest plan. That's what you do when all your veins go black? Nap in some water. It fixes everything. I'm telling you. Oh. I'm sure she'll be fine.
Where are we?
Let's find out.
We're here. It's just here. You know what good game I want to play? Resident Evil Village. Finish that, like,
for all your needs.
hard run that I was doing that was, like, insanely ridiculous. I still don't have any more money than I had before. Game? Village is a good one. Kinda like Village here. I mean, we were talking about, like, going through all the Resident Evils, right? I don't want to start that, like,
My patience
now.
is at an end.
But just because I know, like we've talked about, like, Silent Hill 2 and Slitterhead are coming out in the next couple of months. And, like, I know that, like, we'll probably not, like, do all the Resident Evils, like, one right after the other. We'll probably take a break between a couple of them, but I don't necessarily want to start it now when I've got two big games that I'm planning on playing
Running on autopilot.
this soon.
Systems are all shot to hell.
But
Almost got it.
yeah, that good.
It's the shoe.
I love Village. It's a good game. How far back? Never mind, I can't go back. It's like I'm gonna go back to that shop and sell these expensive items I have, but nope.
Looks like it.
Not allowed.
I'm getting the door now.
Okay, we'll get it. Ooh, it's awful meaty out. God, this chapter is long.
Return to your cells.
Get fucked, Jacob. Sorry. Oh, I thought that was kind of funny. Well, there we go. Okay, we will pick this up tomorrow. Probably. Assuming that I am not, you know, exploding. Oh, there's the continue option. Oh, hey, I found it. Found the continue button. It's right there. In case you were wondering, it's right there. Hey, if you want to continue your game, it's right here. Fucking hell. Let me exit out of this game, like, properly and fully. Yeah, we'll, plan on continuing this tomorrow. Again, I'll, like, tentatively let everyone know, like, what's going on once I know, because I might just sleep. Same thing with, like, with Horror Fest. If we do a movie, I will let everyone know, but we also might not, you know? It's been a long-ass week. Just with work alone. Like, it was incredibly busy. And it was wild, but we're doing it, and we got through it. But it's definitely kind of left me a little sleepy. And needing to recharge. But I really wanted to, like, play game today and do a stream. Like, I was talking to my dad about it last night. I was just like, I'm, like, stoked to stream. We're gonna do it. But yeah, for now, we're gonna call it here. Ooh, excuse me. And I think we're gonna raid John Strutt. Because he is on and streaming a game called Lorelei and the Laser Eyes. Don't know what that is, but John Strutt is a good time always. So if you're gonna raid with us, there are the raid messages. First one's for everyone. It's got global emotes. The second one has yeah, okay. Second one has subscriber emotes. But yeah, we will pick this up next time. Thank you everyone for hanging out, being here, chilling with us. This sure was a time. Ooh boy, this sure is kind of a game, I guess. But yeah, I appreciate y'all. I hope you have a good rest of your day, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye, friends.